What's up, everybody? We're here at the JVaz show. I'm xBValentine. Thank you so much for having me here. We're out here in Houston, Texas, and let's get into it. I definitely was. I think it was just more so because there wasn't a lot of people doing what I wanted to do, so there was no one really to follow and like see how they went about it. And I think just there not being anyone out there kind of like made it almost seem like an impossible thing to do in a small town, like like being able to make it out from there because there wasn't anybody to yeah, there wasn't anyone really for me to be like, oh, like they're doing it, I can too. It was really just a bunch of like me just kind of having to figure it out on my own and having to branch out from my town to a city. So I went to Austin because that was the closest city to me where I could like really, ask more questions of people who were doing what I wanted to do. I was able to get in a studio where I met a producer who I worked with for like 7 years, and he basically, taught me how to record. And it just went from there, really. I just got out of that town. And I definitely did share a lot of passions. I don't think a lot of people know, but I did play softball and basketball growing up. I did play softball longer than I played basketball, but basketball was like I wanted to go into the WNBA when I was a kid. Like it was a dream of mine. But as I got older, I started kind of like the physical part of it wasn't very something I could keep up with. I was always was a chubby kid, so it got a little difficult for me, and I started like steering away from the sports and started picking up, I started like looking up beats and learning how to make beats and, little things like that eventually like made me dabble in more into music. That was what I felt that came more naturally for me. I didn't have to like push myself as hard to where I almost felt like I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. So music was just like naturally like a passion that I never just dropped. I kept going with it, really. I think as of lately, just because there has been a consistency and so much has been happening, the past couple like 4 months has been like consistent, something new every week or like every other week. I'm like either having to do a show, meeting someone new, doing a song with someone that I grew up admiring, like stuff like that. Like as of lately has definitely felt like there's a momentum picking up. But a couple years, I've been doing this since I was 15, so I know that it's hard to stay relevant and it's hard to even be seen. So let alone all that, I finally had a viral tweet in 27 or the beginning of 2018. And that was like my first time of ever getting like finally I have some recognition. But I also learned that year that it's really hard to keep it going. Like, sometimes it's like when you start a fire, and it gets really big all of a sudden, and after a while it dies down, and it's sometimes hard to keep that fire lit. And that's something I learned, like that's the hardest thing, is just staying relevant, because it's easy being seen, but if you're not doing stuff to keep being seen, like that's where it gets hard. And that's something I learned, and that's what I've been like trying to apply to everything. And even having Smooth in my corner, he's someone who's not gonna let me slow down. He's gonna make sure I'm always hey, post this or make sure you're staying active. So definitely as of lately it's been feeling like the momentum's there. It's an interesting story because I always say like I met him, or I knew of him before he had really knew who I was. He's definitely like I would say like a gatekeeper in Fort Worth, who definitely like has created opportunities for a lot of people in my position. And everyone who was making music in Dallas or the Fort Worth area knew of Smooth and knew that if you wanted to be something, or you wanted doors open for you, you want to be on Smooth Vega's radar. And so knowing of him, I did hit him up one time. I sent him this long message on Facebook trying to get his attention, and like let him know like, hey, I'm out here really trying to make things happen for myself, like just trying to get his attention. And he had like never responded to me until like I think until like a year later. And it's funny though, but he eventually ended up like I saw him he followed me on Instagram, and that's when I really like noticed he was like starting to kind of see everything I was doing, and he would like comment and like stuff very subtly for a little bit, and then he finally like reached out and was like, hey, I'm doing this insight for his YouTube channel where he gathered up more local artists to do a cover of a song. That was the first time I really like officially met him in person and got to communicate with him. And from there, like he just kept giving me more reasons to come out. And we were just kind of like testing the waters, seeing where our heads at and what we wanted to do. So I just kept coming. We were just playing it by ear, and officially, he presented me the idea that he was thinking about, officially managing me, and it was just down to me to really say yes, and it just kind of went from there. But it was, I think, maybe we went like 3 months or so where we kind of just like, we're back and forth, where I was coming and visiting him in Fort Worth just to like talk things out, see what I wanted. He just wanted to really get a feel for me as the same. I wanted to get a feel for him. But, it's been going really great. I'm really glad, we crossed paths, and he's a hell of a manager. Yeah.
If he would have replied to you back then.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been as mentally capable of what I'm doing now back then. I think I've grown a lot more, and I've matured a lot, and my mindset has changed a lot over things. I'm more open to more ideas. I'm not very quick to like shut down other people's ideas. And I think that's something that I learned is you have to be able for people to like teach you new things. You can't always assume that you know everything, otherwise you're never gonna learn more. So that's just my theory on this, is like I always wanted to be a sponge to the game. Like I'm never gonna know everything, so having someone like Smooth to like teach me all that is like more of like I don't even know how to put it in words, but it's like I feel honored to have that type of guidance now. So I feel like that's all I really needed, because over the years I've been doing everything by myself, like down to editing my own artwork, like distributing my own music. I was doing everything, like even my own photo shoots. I would put my camera, set it on self timer, like I would do everything by myself. And I think doing that allowed me, yeah, appreciate that. It allowed me to like really know like what all is like, how much work it really takes. And I think me doing it on myself also made it easier for me to be like, okay, like I can't do it all, because it's difficult. And watching him, take some of that off of my hands, and him helping me like really changed like so much for me, because he's been there, done that, So sometimes you gotta let people who've been there, done that guide you, and that's what he's been doing. I mean, it's very important to me because I did grow up. Both of my parents were immigrants, and it definitely it can have a toll on you. I don't think a lot of people realize how difficult it is to have parents as immigrants and the stuff they have to go through in order to be here, legally. So I think just dealing with that and knowing the type of sacrifices they've made, and seeing to this day how little they were, like they continue to work very hard every day. Like it doesn't seem to affect them that they had to do all these sacrifices. And I think to me that's like, I'm grateful to have been raised by people like that, because it taught me that nothing in this world is ever just going to be given to you. You have to go out and get it. And that's exactly what they did. And I think a lot of kids who were born from immigrants can understand that immigrant parents do bust their ass a little bit extra, because it's not as easy for them. And seeing that, and seeing how they never complained and never were like, it never seemed like they were unhappy. They constantly like made it seem like everything was good. And I think as you get older and you see that, you're like, damn. Like as an adult, I can only be grateful, because not everyone can do that, and not a lot of people realize like how hard it is to like push through, being away from your family, and like having to take care of your family, and not being able to do what you want to do because you have to take care of your family. So all I can do is represent for them, because I have so much to pay them back for, and right now I can't pay them back, and the only way I could do that is just by showing out for them and showing them like I'm proud to come from immigrant parents. I don't care what people say. Like I'm gonna keep putting on from where I came from, because man, when I say they busted their ass, they busted their ass. And I'm proud to like say that, because that's where I get my my work ethic. Just seeing, for example, like my dad, he works Monday through Sunday, and he doesn't ever like, man, like I don't want to go to work tomorrow. He would always tell me, he's like, he kept this mentality. He would tell me, even with performing, he would say, you need to be rehearsing a 30-minute set. Although you're gonna perform a 15-minute set, he's like, rehearse for a 30-minute set. He's like, because your body's always gonna be ready for a 30-minute set, so you're never gonna get tired, because you're still gonna be able to go an extra 15 minutes. He says the same thing with work. He's like, I tell myself every single day, like I'm not gonna get tired, because every day like he has a mindset that he's gonna work double of what he actually is, so he doesn't ever get tired. And like he keeps that mindset, and that's what keeps him going. And like that's just like mind blowing to me to think like someone can push themselves that hard. And it's just that immigrant mentality, you know, like by all means necessary. So
Shouts out to our parents, man.
facts.
You know, we're definitely not built like that.
Hell no, especially not these younger generations. They don't know.
Work overtime. Nope.
Hell no, they're like, they got the option, they're gonna say no. Man, it's crazy, to be honest, because like I remember being in middle school and literally listening to all of them, and I would have never guessed that this would be happening. And a lot of it is like, you know, a lot of it is because of Smooth. You know, he definitely has built a lot of relationships over the years, and I think, you know, he definitely like was able to put me in situations where I was genuinely able to connect with these artists in person, and like not only just like get them on a song, but like I can almost say that I'm low-key like friends with Paul Wall now. So like that's pretty dope. So I think it's just like really cool that, you know, I'm even in this position, and I'm really grateful because I would have never guessed it. So, you know, it's dope, and everyone that I've gone to work with was super cool. You know, Kap G showed a lot of love. Baby Bash is a super dope guy, super humble, and, you know, he definitely, from the moment I met him, like, continuously, like, made sure that I kept doing what I was doing. Like, he kept reminding me, like, yo, like, you're dope. Like, you know, you really got what it takes. And hearing that from Baby Bash was, that was crazy. It was, like, to hear it from an artist that I remember listening to on my way home from school tell me like, yo, like you should be on the radio. That was like, damn. Yeah. So it was cool, you know. So I'm really for real. There was a lot of moments where I was like, and it's funny because I'm not very expressive, so I feel like I don't get as excited as I feel like I should be. But I feel like when I'm by myself and I'll listen back to the songs, I'm like, damn. Like I was like that happened, and I almost get like emotional. I don't think I can get excited, but I get like emotional because like I really have been doing this for so long, and there were moments where I was like, man, I don't even think it's like worth doing this anymore. But I'm glad I kept going because now I'm here. We're just gonna be dropping them as singles for now, because I wanted to focus like the album to be more like a me thing, you know, because I've been putting out a lot of collaborations. So I think the album will definitely just focus more on like what I can do as an artist by myself. So right now we're just throwing these singles out because a lot of these songs are just songs that I've had for a while, and I never really knew how to like. Because my thing is like you can have a good song, but if you don't put it out and not everyone gets to hear it, it's like the song goes to waste. So I think, you know, that's what these features are really for, is to like kind of help get these songs in a bigger light, you know, so they didn't just, you know, collect dust or something, you know. But after this, we're definitely going to be focusing on a project. So, yes, sir. No, I'll be there. I don't remember exactly what date. I know my cat. I gotta be looking at my calendar. I think that sounds right. But yeah, so July 31st, Centro Popular is definitely the place you want to be. It's gonna be like one of the hottest Latin shows in Texas. Wait, let me rephrase. The hottest Latin festival. There's gonna be up to 14 acts. You know, it's definitely gonna be artists that a lot of y'all grew up admiring. It's gonna be Baby Bash, Frankie J, King Little G, Twista. We got even upcoming artists. We got like AJ Hearns, Crystal Poppin'. Like it's all a Latin lineup, you know. So it's something super dope for the city. You know, shout out to Smooth, you know, for really putting on for his hometown and giving everyone there, you know, something to look forward to and something to be proud of, because, you know, I feel like the Latin culture was missing that type of representation, and Smooth is definitely delivering that for us. And it's cool, you know, it's a lot of dope artists and a lot of artists that are even from Fort Worth too, so it's cool that, you know, people are going to be able to even see local acts too. So it's a really dope event. You don't want to miss it. And if you buy a ticket, there's actually includes a free meet and greet with Chris Perez if you buy the ticket though. So if you buy a ticket, you know, you can't miss out on that. So it's definitely where you want to be. My whole family's gonna be there. You know, my tias, my tios, my aunties, same shit, right? But yeah, so don't want to miss it. Honestly, I feel like I've been on tour. Nah, I mean, honestly, as of now, I don't really know too much about like if, maybe we never know. We might get a call tomorrow and get asked to go on tour with somebody. But as of now, there's really not much set up. We're just kind of like taking shows as they come. If it makes sense, we're gonna do it. And if. But other than that, we've really just been focusing more on the music and trying to build up the image and making sure get my name out there more. So. But tour is definitely gonna come at some point. We'll just see when. Ooh, that's a good question. But as of now, I do have my next single coming out July 30th, right the day before the show with Castro Escobar called The South. So that's coming out next, and after that, it could either be the Bone Thugs record, the Paul Wall record, or shit, I don't even know what else. I think I got one more other record with somebody. But yeah, that's how we're just coming out with singles for now. So all my social media is xBValentine all together. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify. All of it is going to be the exact same, xBValentine. And my TikTok as well. Make sure y'all go follow that.